afternoon, YTPC. How's everybody out there? Been a day or two. Hope you enjoyed my bourbon video. I actually just ordered another couple of different ones, not so inexpensive ones, but I've always wanted, for example, the Wild Turkey 101, but everyone says it's incredibly good for the money you pay, which is just suits me fine. So I'm going to compare that with some of my other less expensive ones like Bottle and Bond, and see how it shapes up. And the other one was a Jack Daniel's 7 limited edition. It was a kind of special limited edition. With a green label, you know, like back in the old days. And it was a bit mixed, the reviews that I read and heard about that, but it sounded that it was nice and sweet and caramelly. So I'm going to give it, I wanted to have a Tennessee whiskey, you know. The budget allowed me to do 2 bottle additions to replace the heavy damage that was done to my bourbon store over Christmas. But that's quite normal, isn't it? You may have noticed, this is quite unusual for me. This is a 320 Savinelli rustic model. Where's my magic light that I've got in here, which is like the most powerful light of all lights. And you'll notice that's a Trevi, right? Everybody knows a Trevi. I love the Trevi. It's an aluminium ring, but it's makes it very attractive, I think. And they had a good deal on these in smokingpipes.eu, who mostly has a good selection of the filter pipes. So this is 9mm, just suits me perfect. And it's kind of a bit fat and squat, you know. It's not at all like my Prince preference that I have, but I got this one because the 320 has a very large bowl and thick walls, and I thought for certain tobaccos I've learned that's very helpful. So I wanted to have 1 or 2 more like that with this big sort of almost like an apple bowl, but very thick walled, but a large bowl at the same time. So it's good for some tobaccos which are a bit hotter smoking. In it today I've actually got my Lane Ltd Ready Rubbed. I got a pouch of this about a year ago, tried it, thought, oh, it's pretty good. Jarred it up, and I got it out maybe a week ago, and I've been going at it pretty steady, and I very much like it. It's gone from like it to very much like it. So I was quite surprised, but you know, is it me that's changed, or it's been jarred up for a year that helps it? It's a pure burley, but of course with some nice cocoa toppings, and I really like this. In fact, I liked it so much that I bought a tub, because actually it's one of the last tubs that you can get of any codger blend, you know. I think the Swiss news is just coming on, so I'll put that on silent. And it's very, very pleasant. I love this mild cocoa. I actually was suffering a bit from some sort of tongue bite that I got from Kentucky Nougat. That may have been the topping there, or that it was too wet. Liked it, but I've let it air a bit, and I've jarred it up, and I'll come back to that tobacco a bit later. But this one, I always regard burley as a kind of tobacco doctor. So if you've got that problem and you're still feeling it a little bit after laying off, maybe smoking a day or two, or taking a bit of biotine to help your tongue recover, I find these kind of burley tobaccos very therapeutic. Often the codger blends, which are either heavy burley with a bit of Virginia, or sometimes even just pure burley. Some people find burley, or they point the finger and say that's high nicotine, but it can't be true, because most of these codger blends are not high nic at all. I think it depends on the burley and the process it's been through. There may be some burleys which have higher nicotine contents, but most of the ones I've got usually are bringing it down to a medium, even mild level. But certainly for a tongue bite and the ease of smoking, you can't beat these kind of blends, you know. So if your mouth and tongue is in a delicate condition, you need, but you still want to have a smoke, these are the ones to go for. Prince Albert's soft vanilla, for example, was one of my favourites. Also, actually hardly get it anymore, but that's why I got a tub of this. I thought I'd better get it, because you can't get Carter Hall, you can't get loads of the regular tubs. I don't know what's going on. Sometimes I think they're having a game. They make a stoppage and put the panic in the market, and they know they'll sell a lot just before they fully stop, and then they know they're going to sell a ton of it when they come back. So we saw that with Velvet, didn't we? So I don't know if it's a bit of a game, or maybe they just had some production changes and problems and had to stop those lines for a bit, or maybe they have stopped those lines, I don't know. Went out this morning to get my bi-monthly haircut. Yeah, luckily they have the barber shops still open this time, so that's okay, but they're all kind of very busy, and because of the distancing they can't do as many people anyway. It takes ages to get an appointment, and finally got my crop done, so that should be good for almost another 2 months. It's weird to go into the towns now because so many shops are closed, and only food basically is food and drink. The beer and alcohols, the spirit shops are all open. Someone in the government, you know, say, oh, can't let them not get alcohol, you know, there'll be a riot. But otherwise the streets are very thinly populated. There's a lot of offices, of course, which people are doing home office now, so kind of a ghost town character to the larger cities, you know, where you really notice it. What used to be buzzing, and you'd have to dodge the traffic on the pavement of so many people milling around. Today it's you know, you look down at what was a very busy street and you see half a dozen people there and here, you know. Well, this is working very well, I must say. Very easy draw. Okay, 9mm, but really especially easy draw. There's really quite a large bowl opening here. And they are very comfortable to hold if it's got a bigger, rounder bowl. You know, I've got a meerschaum with a huge round bowl like that. It's very comfortable. It just nestles in the cup of your hand. Very, very easy. Got a question actually for you experts out there. So coming up are some videos I'm going to make about some estate pipes I've got. I decided now I'll accept to have some pipes which are non-filtered, because you go back 30 years or more, almost all of them were non-filtered, apart from 6mm, you know, on Greybows and K Woodies, that given. And I've acquired now several. I'm going to make special videos on those when they come. But I will tell you about the name of one of them, which was a Benson Hedges pipe. And there's very little information to find out about that. They are in Pipepedia, and basically they were contract manufactured by Komai or Orlik, and some of them had a little silver band around it, which was, depending if they're really going back a long way in history, even like to the earlier 1900s, they can be stamped with a silversmith mark. I think the one I'm getting will be more like that. But I wondered if anybody, apart from what you can find out in Pipepedia and Pipe Fill, I've found all of that. I've done loads of searches with Google about anything else that is out there as a Benson Hedges pipe. Most of the ones that came up were much more recent, or some new. There was one on Estival, had some unsmoked Benson Hedges pipes that were found in a box, which probably came from, I don't know, the 90s or the 80s or something like that, and they all sold out really quick. But the one I'm looking at is probably even pre-World War II. And I'm just wondering if anyone knows examples of these kind of silver band hallmarked Benson Hedges pipe, and if there are more examples of those from Komai or from Orlik, because there's really not much to find. I went through all eBay, and I thought it must have been, as they were promoting the brand with these pipes, it must be, actually they must be very common. So either they all got used and thrown away, and not many have survived, or perhaps they didn't make many of that kind. So anyone who's got a bit of knowledge on that, or maybe even have one, I would be interested to have a look if you've got a photo or something like that. I find that actually fascinating to look at the history of pipes, you know, of these older estate pipes. Where did it come from? When was it made? You know, how can you find that out? What kind of quality can you find of those particular pipes? You know, did I make a good buy with the one I have, or, you know, are there better ones that I could have got for less money? You know, sometimes it's interesting. Not that it would really bother me, because I usually by the time I've researched it, I know it's going to be somewhere between very good and excellent condition. And most of the sites I look at, I look around to see if people like to deal with them, or they have a good rating. And some of them are actually so well known, we all know that they're very good. So I will touch on those topics in these coming estate pipe videos, but anyone who knows much about Benson Hedges pipes, let me know. Well, I won't do a long one today. I just wanted to show you my 320 here, and my new friend Lane Ltd Ready Rubbed. But that's the interesting thing, isn't it? We did everyone these favourite fives, and you just know if you ask any of us in a year or two, it won't be the same set. It might not even be any one of those fives that we suddenly think are great, you know. And some are these revisits, you know. You go back to a tobacco that you've tried once, and suddenly you think, this is actually better than I thought, you know. Other piece of news is I got some beautiful shellac records, 78s, Japanese music, which actually very hard to find Japanese 78s. Even when I was in Japan I was trying to find, because I started collecting at that time, and that's going to be great fun summer evening to play on the balcony, you know. I'll wear my I've got one of those Komodo things that I picked up, you know, in the markets there. You can get them for $20 or whatever, and haven't worn it in ages, and so I'll my neighbours probably say, oh well, you know, he's English, he's eccentric, so but they'll probably be curious why I'm playing Japanese music. But I just love old stuff, you know. It's natural, I guess, if you like antiques and interested in history and stuff like that. That's a little bit why I'm getting a few more estate pipes, because I just find them marvellous. There's always something different about them, you know. The briar was different back then, the designs were different. It's an amazing thing that you can get a briar pipe, it'll still work today, you can smoke it, and in some cases they look more like maybe they're 20 years old than 100 years old. And you know, I wonder how many hundreds of years these pipes actually can survive intact. Probably many hundreds, if they're stored properly, you know. And one day my collection will be sold off, probably, or dispersed, and people will hold those pipes in their hand and say, I wonder who the owner of this, what he was like, and, you know, how many pipes he had and what he smoked, and, you know, even some pipes several owners, you know. Anyway, not to make it too long today, so if you are enjoying the content, always appreciate the thumbs up, and if you like all the videos that you can look at in my playlists and the rest of it, why not subscribe? Do appreciate all of my new subscribers. Must be up actually to 943. Amazing. We might make 1,000, who knows? We'll see. That will be a gore of all gores if I make it. We'll see. Anyway, you all take care, everyone. Look after yourselves. Don't let your guard down. We're at home stretch now. Get your jab in the next couple of 3 months, and things will be slowly making steps to some kind of normality, let's hope. Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.